because this drop was designed to make me go more insane than I already am, because I have been going insane over the past couple years because of everything happening, to be honest. And holy shit, man, there is so much in this drop.
Yeah,
that is just
it's overwhelming.
mind-boggling. I think maybe some of it is designed to drive us insane. Some of it is designed to put us into this realm of paranoid speculation and conspiracy theorizing. But we're going to go through it. We're going to look at some of the highlights. There's a lot released, so we're not going to be able to cover everything.
Yeah.
And, people are still digging around, trying to find the good stuff, but we're going to talk about the Epstein situation and what the hell is in these files. And what's
I
going
think it's a lot of bullshit mixed in with reality. And there's precisely a lot of bullshit in order to kind of throw people off. And
Oh, yeah.
I'm doubtful about what is real and what is not real. But yeah, it's kind of, it's really down the rabbit hole. Like, a lot of the shit is just insane, really crazy stuff.
I've noticed that like Twitter has latched onto a lot of the pop culture shit.
Yeah, like what do you mean?
Like the whole thing with Jay-Z and
wait, he had an association with Jay-Z too?
He was some kind of thing about Weinstein and about how he used to go to like Weinstein used to go to his parties or something in the 90s.
Okay, yet another L that Jay-Z takes.
Yeah,
highly overrated rapper.
and Jay-Z are in the files.
Yeah,
Right,
highly overrated rapper, terrible person, just awful.
Yeah, I was never a big Jay-Z guy, but
Could you have taste?
so this isn't really like a big deal for me or anything, but
yeah,
it is weird. I like Pusha T though. That's kind of disappointing.
Wait, Pusha T is in there?
Yeah, Pusha T is in there.
What did he do? No.
I mean, the accusation is that he was involved in sex trafficking with, I think it was Harvey Weinstein.
Wait, really?
It's like the thing about that is that a lot of the Epstein emails are mixed in with like anonymous FBI tips.
Okay.
For whatever reason, they were included in that.
Yeah.
So it's not like definitive, but it does raise questions.
We'll talk about some of these FBI tips.
We're gonna end up in our names are gonna show up for some random reason, dude.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that by the end of this, we'll be indistinguishable.
Literally every American will be in there. Like,
we're turning the stream into gray zone.
It is actually mind-boggling the extent of this person's network, though. Like,
yeah,
he is an utter enigma. This like people use the term éminence grise. Like,
I mean, that was him for sure.
That he like is the protagonist of the film éminence grise. Like, it's unbelievable. The network this guy had, all the connections he had, all the things he was doing, all his hustles.
If you wanted to, a very boring person. If you wanted to just watch the interview with him, it's just midway.
I gotta watch that actually.
Yeah, it is
very interesting.
It is mystifying how he gets elevated to this role, but everything you hear from him is just either like trivial, mundane, or just straight up idiotic.
Like I might play some parts of the interview because there are some funny parts.
No,
for the most part, it's incredibly boring. He's basically just describing basic stuff about finance and acting like it's some kind of amazing insight into the world.
Yeah, I love how like
that describes finance people to a T, though.
Yeah, but there's finance is also staffed by a lot of quote unquote brainiacs. Like, not that they're interesting, but people with some kind of technical capacity. He didn't seem like that at all.
I mean, apparently he was actually pretty fucking bad at finance.
I mean, yeah, I'm not surprised at all. Yeah.
You could probably find the email where one guy was going on about how he made no sense when he was talking about finance or whatever. Which is funny because that's his whole personality.
Yeah. No, yeah, we're definitely going to talk about the irony of the drops as well.
Pizzagate, yeah, Pizzagate motherfuckers were so stupid. They got so close to the truth, but also backed Trump Epstein's top guy.
No, yeah, the irony is so rich, and we'll talk about all the copium that they've been.
I just want to say real quick that everyone needs to apologize to their fellows, like their local schizo, because it turns out that they were onto something.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, the whole like pedophile cabal thing is man, you'd hear people talk about that shit and you'd be like, man, shut up, you're weird. And now it's kind of like, god damn it, like they were onto something. Of course, most of them were right-wing freaks who now all of a sudden refuse to recognize that it's a right-wing. It's a lot of right-wing people, but yeah, it's
yeah. Well, there's the stuff that came out about 4chan that apparently Paul POL, the right wing part of 4chan, was launched the day that Moot, the founder of 4chan, met with Epstein, according to these emails. So there are people speculating basically that 4chan itself and the alt-right and this kind of online Nazi movement was itself an Epstein psyop, which I don't know if that's entirely true, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was some kind of Mossad operation going on behind some of that stuff, pushing some of this stuff, and kind of trying to create the controlled opposition to this stuff once it comes out. Or maybe the Pizzagate stuff is a good example of shit coding, where you put out fake conspiracies that sound completely ridiculous in order to discredit people that talk about the actual conspiracy theories, right?
Yeah. Or the actual conspiracies that are operating. Yeah.
So it does seem like if you were someone like Epstein and you did actually have this pedophile sex trafficking network that was tying together all these different factions of the elite and compromising all these different elites, connected all these intelligence communities, that you would be smart and you would prepare for this stuff to get out there, right? And so you would create the narrative that you want people to react to it with. So it's crazy.
I don't know if like 4chan itself was, or Poe itself was like a Mossad operation, but I can say I'm pretty confident that they ran like psyops through it. They ran operations through it, because there was a period of time where 4chan had like active harassment campaigns that they would run like in the real world, where they would like mobilize people to do things like targeted things and disinfo campaigns on the message board. So it's not a stretch to think that an intelligence agency like Mossad could have used it as a venue for like their own operations. Yeah,
I mean, at this point, like everything is possible. Like I'm at this point where I'm someone who's so, I don't like to talk about things unless I really have evidence, but at this point everything is plausible, and I don't know what reality is anymore.
Reality clearly at this point is whatever you want it to be,
whatever Jeffrey Epstein did, like behind the scenes. It's but maybe let's try to more systematically go through some of the material, because there's just so much that.
Yeah.
And then we could maybe we can go through like the some of the. I mean, we can go through the emails, but maybe go look at that interview and just kind of mock this utter.
Well, there's one thing I want to look at first, and maybe I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't start with the most interesting thing, but this is the thing that a lot of people are talking about, which is this FBI CHS reporting document that says that Trump was basically co-opted by Israel.
Yeah. There's like an FBI informant, right?
Let's see this.
Right, and I actually think I know who the informant is.
You told me.
It's and he has an interesting story. And so how seriously we can take this is, I don't know how serious it is, but let's go over it.
I mean, is it only one claim or is it multiple sources?
This is the main source, but it outright says that Trump is like an asset of the Israelis.
Well, he's compromised.
That he's compromised. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So this is from 2020. And it's a confidential human source.
The first name I see is Alan Dershowitz.
Yes. Alan Dershowitz is involved.
Oh my god. Alan Dershowitz is like just what a disgusting person, honestly.
And this confidential source believes that Alan Dershowitz is Mossad. He says, if you were young again, he would be holding a stun gun as an Israeli intelligence agent. It's just ridiculous.
Dork.
So they believe that this guy claims that Dershowitz is a Mossad asset, which I mean,
he might as well be. If
he
he's
might
not,
as well
like,
be. I mean,
if he's not operating under, he runs cover for.
Yeah.
He's just a propagandist for.
Yeah.
So he might as well be.
Wouldn't be surprising.
So and he says
that guy's his law career is illustrious, defending fucking wife beaters and
yeah. He has that book In Defense of Israel. That's just like
apparently where he plagiarized like an egregious amount.
Yeah.
And like made claims whose sources were syllabuses, like was like a syllabus in like a high school class or something.
Yes.
Like the level
Harvard law professor, everyone.
Yeah, the level of scholarship is appalling.
Yeah, Finkelstein has an appendix in his book Beyond Chutzpah where he just goes like point by point and debunks it.
Yeah. Man,
Norman
is like the only guy, one of the only faves in here that comes out.
Yeah, Finkelstein does show up in the files, but he's actually awesome, and he's like, "No, you're a pedophile. I'm not going to meet your friend."
I love it.
Would it have been so hard for Chomsky to say the same
exactly
thing?
that? We'll talk about Chomsky more, but I think Finkelstein, he comes out looking good here.
Anyways,
I knew he would. I knew he would. I didn't have any concerns.
Me neither. Yeah, he's a moral titan.
But so Epstein was represented by Dershowitz, and Epstein was close to Ehud Barak. We knew that.
Well, we knew that.
A lot of
and trained as a spy under him. That's a bit more.
Well, that's explicit. The first time I've heard that. Yeah, explicitly.
Yeah, very explicitly.
So that is interesting. This claim that Ehud Barak is, the guy who trained Epstein. And then Russia gets involved.
Yeah, that's yeah. Shabbat shows up.
Yeah, this is where it gets crazy. CHS advised Chabad is doing everything they can to co-opt the Trump presidency. Chabad is basically state-sanctioned Judaism. It is used by Putin to keep tags on all the Russo-Jewish oligarchs.
That sounds like total nonsense.
No, it's not.
I mean, in Russia, it basically is. If you're talking about Russia, Chabad.
Yeah, because it's a global thing, right? In the sense,
right?
But like, so maybe he's talking about the Russian section of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, and Putin and Chabad in Russia are very tight.
Okay.
They actually helped Putin get into power, basically.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah. On the day Trump was elected president,
well, I just knew that he was the like adjunct mayor or something or he was like an adjunct to the mayor of St. Petersburg, and he obviously had previous KGB connections, and then he sort of made connections with rising oligarchs against the established oligarchs, and that's sort of how. But so I guess that some of those sort of rising oligarchs were probably Chabad, is what you're saying.
Right, exactly. He teamed up with the Chabad guys against the other Jewish oligarchs outside of the Chabad circle and basically used them to secure his power.
Yeah. Like against like Khodorkovsky and those oligarchs, that kind of generation of oligarchs.
So, I do believe that this is true about Chabad and Putin. That's not exactly a secret. Ex-Chabad guys have even talked about like how criminal their relationship with Putin is. So this source believe that this was the real Russian collusion story, which is a talking point that I have made. Kushner has moved a lot of Russian investment money around. The FBI should investigate Kushner's family charities. And that is another thing that Kabad does. They do use charities to launder money. They use charities in order to launder money into the Soviet Union to fund their in the Soviet days they had an underground network in the Soviet Union, and they basically operated as a Mossad front, and they would use charities as fronts to like bring stuff in.
Okay, but so what are they laundering now? I mean, they don't get around taxes, or like what do they need to launder at this point?
Well, that's a good question.
Yeah,
that's a good question, and considering the amount of sexual abuse in these communities, it's something to think about with regards to Epstein.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm pretty sure you can get around taxes without having to resort to like crazy laundering schemes, right?
Well,
yeah.
Well, there's probably not taxes. Like if what Donald's saying is true, that they're basically like an auxiliary arm of the Mossad, so they would need like dark funding for whatever it is that they do.
Right.
Man, Thomas Pynchon couldn't write this in his
Yeah, that's the thing about Kabad is it was almost like something made up by a Thomas Pynchon novel.
Yeah. Like even like I'm telling you, like like no novelist could make this up. That's how elaborate and scary it is.
It's weird. They cite Whitney Webb in here, which is funny.
Yeah, Marcus does say something, which is what I was saying as well, which is that it's a lot of hearsay.
Yes. Okay, so I will come out and say I am like 99% sure that this source is a guy named Chuck Johnson.
Okay, you're telling me about him.
Charles Johnson. And that makes me skeptical, obviously. Like, you should be skeptical about anything you read in these files. But I will also say that it is possible that Chuck Johnson is correct. Because, first of all, this guy, Chuck Johnson, he started out as basically like a typical right-wing political activist. He was part of Steve Bannon's inner circle during Trump 1.0. He had a connection with Peter Thiel, and they worked together against Gawker for the Trump campaign. So this guy, Chuck Johnson, he is in deep with this world of MAGA oligarchs at first, okay? And what happens is he turns on Peter Thiel, and he reports to Business Insider that Peter Thiel is actually an FBI informant. And he goes rogue from these MAGA circles. And so he turns on Peter Thiel, and then he starts like saying all this stuff about how like Trump is basically like, it's really about Kushner and Kushner's connections to Kabad, and that the connections to Russia run through Kabad, and that Trump is basically like completely owned by the Israelis. And he does these Twitter spaces where he would go on about this stuff, and I would like tune into some of them just to like listen in. And my first, thought was like, oh, this is really crazy. But I started reading like other stuff, like these this book Spy Fail by James Bamford, which goes a lot into Israeli infiltration into the intelligence community, and it laid out a lot of the connections between Trump and the Israelis. And something, maybe there is something to what this Chuck Johnson guy is saying. And so, people would say that he was bullshitting, that he was a federal informant, that was just like he was full of shit and he was just grifting people by saying that. But now that it turns out he actually was a federal informant and actually was like working with the feds to investigate Epstein, it does raise some interesting questions. But it is also the possibility that this guy is just a crank. And that's
it could be total bullshit. Where does he like? Is he specific about what kind of compromise they have on Trump, or is he just
no?
See, that's a bit like
about that.
I would like to know. I wish he had kind of revealed more, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, he's in jail right now.
Shit, bro. What did he do? What the hell? He probably grifted in some way, right?
He's in jail for. Hold on, let me get up the exact The exact charges are why he's in jail. He was found liable for civil racketeering, and he had to pay $40 million to the plaintiffs because they accused him of falsely portraying himself as a U.S. intelligence asset with the aim of extorting money. So
he did. Oh my god!
Wow.
It's like constitutionally impossible for these right-wing guys not to grift. I don't know.
yes, exactly. That's the thing. This guy is a right winger. He's very sus. He's not someone that you should trust. But what he's saying just does add up to a lot of the other stuff that we've seen.
I mean, the other thing is like, why would he lie here? I mean, let's try to speculate as to like why
this is a confidential informant report, so
yes,
no one's supposed to know about it.
But this is Chuck Johnson. This is this guy Charles Johnson. There's no way it's not him. There's no way it's not him.
But I guess my question is, what reason would he have to lie about this if he didn't think anybody would ever see it, right?
Right. And the thing is he went public with a lot of these theories later on. So I don't know.
I mean, listen, it adds up, but I just don't know. Maybe he got some deal out of it. You know, we never know, right?
Yeah, and the thing is like Chuck Johnson, not long before he went to jail, he was like saying some really insane stuff about how Epstein was actually like working for the Americans to spy on Israel, and that Ghislaine Maxwell was innocent and should be released from prison. And he was like, when the Epstein files come out, you might see like stuff about my involvement in there, but just like remember that Epstein was actually like. So he's actually saying stuff that was the opposite of what he seemed to be saying to these informants, which was very strange.
I don't know. If I were a lawyer, I'd have a field day with this.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's in jail for a reason.
It would be it'd be very easy to get this shit just like.
Yeah. So, but the thing is a lot of people are sharing this file and using it. Like, and I shared it at first saying, oh, this is basically confirmation that Trump was an asset of Mossad and that Trump is controlled by Mossad. But then I said, oh, wait, this is just Chuck Johnson. This is the classic Chuck Johnson conspiracy. And he actually was a federal informant. So,
Donald, you could get a doctorate in right-wing conspiracy.
Yeah, I guess. But I don't know. I think Marcus does have a point though. This could be written off as hearsay.
Yeah.
The truth is like when you look at the Trump administration right now and how it operates, like, is it outside the realm of possibility? No.
That's precisely where conspiracies live, though. They live in that realm of possibility. The problem I have with this is what Jamil was saying earlier, is that it's unverifiable. There's no way to fucking know if this is true. So they just, all of this information that goes out, you don't know what to latch onto to actually consider truthful.
Yeah, what is plausible?
I'm beginning to think that's actually the point here.
Yeah. What is plausible is an extensive set. Like, you know, there's so much that's plausible. And like, unless Trump like comes out tomorrow on CNN and it's like, guys, I'm compromised.
They
got videos. Like, how are we, you know, I mean, there'll be something less than that would indict him, but are we going to get it? Are we going to get access to that information? And that's kind of the thing about like all of these like dumps too, is like, it's like there's this like gray region of plausibility that just keeps expanding and expanding.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody just gets to read whatever they want into this shit.
And we're just
it doesn't actually help us with understanding any of it.
Yeah, we're really descending into informational hell. Like it's all pretty maddening. Let's look at some other ones. That one is let's chalk that up to plausible, but
plausible but not confirmed.
Truth value indeterminate.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, like we all kind of believe that Trump is.
Listen, we know he's compromised.
He's not the we've heard it before. We know we have a sense. We just don't know how.
Yeah, exactly. We don't know who has that information, how, et cetera, et cetera. Like, we don't know who the puppet master, if there are many puppet masters.
Part of the problem is that it's also an easy grift for like these intelligence adjacent ghouls to come on and say, I have information about how he was compromised, like the Steele report.
Yeah, there's so much fake intelligence out there too. Like,
Yeah.
you don't know what to believe.
So let's look at some other ones. What's some other ones?
Let's go on another one.
All right, let's look at what we got here. Oh, I got some of the Chomsky correspondences that are interesting.
Bro be talking shit about Lenin's moral code and fucking hang out with pedophiles.
I know.
What a
Yeah.
lame.
What a ridiculous person.
I know. I mean, listen, I have massive respect for him intellectually, obviously, but this really hurts my estimation of him.
Yeah, so this one was really funny. This email that Epstein sent to Chomsky.
Oh God, yeah.
So
First off, I know everyone talks about it, but like, what is up with his writing, man?
Why does he
like? What is this? Like, why can't? Is he maybe like on a? Maybe he's just typing like really fast on it. It almost seems deliberate.
Yeah, I mean, some of these seem deliberate. Like, what is the $C2 that he constantly types?
It's weird though, because like, look at the typing from Chomsky. It's like, we both really enjoyed the evening, M equal Ensley, and can't tell you how tempting the invitation is equal C2. Have to somehow, is that like some formatting thing?
Bro, you know Pizzagate people are already trying to do like cryptography and shit.
Yeah, like what the hell is this weird like?
It's
pedo.
I've never seen this in my life.
It's pedo code. It's like Morse code, but more evil.
And then, he reacts to Chomsky saying, "As you like the expression, if not now." On a different note, you have encouraged me to look at data, no holds barred, mortgages, inequalities, opportunities. I've seen some things through your eyes, and for that I am grateful. Test score gap among African Americans is well documented. Equaled ed. It's just so like
this guy talking shit about other people's IQ, no holds barred. I think he means no bars held. That's the actual expression.
Yeah, it's so bad.
Motherfucker can't even write. Like, he's illiterate, and he's talking shit about other people's IQ. The irony is rich.
Yeah. Making things better might require accepting some uncomfortable facts. You told me that. And this is what's really funny about this, is that these links over here, the rightstuff.biz, that is a neo-Nazi website that was really popular during like Trump tier 1.
Trump 1, yeah.
Yeah.
And
it is they're hardcore neo-Nazis. Like, these are like, the real deal. And so it's just Epstein was sharing neo-Nazi websites that
Noam Chomsky.
Noam Chomsky.
Yeah.
It's just
yeah,
and Epstein probably was doing tons of drugs.
I think you're right, Marcus. Yeah, I think he was doing a ton of drugs.
Yeah. So, maybe he was coked out while he was writing these. That's a good point.
He was coked out a lot then.
Yeah. But this is just freaking weird. He's talking to Chomsky about race and IQ, and he's sending Chomsky the rightstuff.biz, which was like one of those 4chan alt-right websites that was infamous for just how ridiculous and vulgar it was during that time period.
Of course, like, okay, the thing about this screenshot is Chomsky's then like, no, this is idiotic, shut up.
Like, yeah, no, I got the response too.
Of course, like, that's what this is what I don't understand about Chomsky. He'd be like, Epstein was a very interesting man, and like the totality of their email correspondences is just Epstein sending him rambling nonsense and Chomsky being like, no, that's dumb. So I don't understand what was so interesting about this man.
There's nothing interesting about him whatsoever. Yeah. Like,
you remember that, like, on a previous episode, they was talking about ants and fucking evolution, and Chomsky's like, that's not how things work. Like, just no. Whether the facts have second is what they blah 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 blah.
But this is how Chomsky reacts. He's first question is whether the facts have any significance. Second is, what is the explanation? Answer to the first is that they don't. They have no scientific interest, and they tell us nothing about how to deal with Tom Jones, who he is, who is who is he, and not the mean of some group to which we assign him. So yeah, he just kind of gives like the typical answer that you would give to someone like spreading this kind of bullshit, which is, as for the explanation, the likelihood I think is that I outlined, say the likely different outcomes for a kid like me and a counterpart in a family in Philly that is part of a group that for 400 years had a chance for about 2 or 3 decades to enter mainstream society and then with the constant legacy of racism.
Of miserable racism. Yeah. No, he
completely he does actually maintain his values at least.
It's just very bizarre though.
Which is it's just so he does like stick up to Epstein's insane racism, but you're still talking to this guy. Why
are you fucking with this guy, man?
Why are you talking to this guy? He's a racist pedophile with connections to all the intelligence agencies that you're supposed to be exposing and condemning.
Oh man, I mean, it's just so weird. What a stain on his legacy. He's also like 90 something. So
yeah, but then there was another one from Chomsky that makes him look really bad. Let me find it real quick. Okay, here it is. Yeah. He's basically giving Epstein advice on how to deal with the pedophilia accusations. This is even worse than the letter of recommendation that he wrote for Epstein.
No, Chomsky. No.
Yeah, I have to wonder what his motivation is with this.
Here, he writes to Jeffrey Epstein, I've watched the horrible way that you are being treated in the press and public. It's painful to say, but I think the best way to proceed is to ignore it. I've had plenty of experience, though of course not on this scale. A Google search will bring up tons of hysterical accusations of all sorts, even groups dedicated to vilifying me. Well, first of all, no, this is not the same thing. This is not the same thing as, these neocons and these right-wingers and these asshole liberals who are out to get you because of the stuff that you have said about them and exposed about the U.S. empire. This is not in the same category right now, all right? But apparently, in Noam Chomsky's mind, it is. And this is just his good friend being unfairly vilified by the media in the same way that he is. Says, I pay no attention unless I'm approached for comment on a specific matter. It's a nuisance, but it's the best way. The same conclusions from experiences of others, in some cases, close friends. It's like, okay, Chomsky, like, maybe when someone's, like, attacking you for stupid bullshit, like political bullshit like that, like when someone's calling you like a self-hating Jew for hating on Israel or something like that, or if they're calling you, a genocide apologist or whatever, maybe the way to deal with that is to just ignore it. But these are different types of accusations, that Chomsky is getting.
These are criminal accusations.
Right. These are serious criminal accusations of being a pedophile and
the man was convicted.
Yeah.
It's like, usually when people are saying stupid stuff about me, it is, legitimate to ignore it, but you can't do that in this case.
And like Carlos, not only was he convicted once, he was convicted again. It's like one thing to be like, you know what I'm saying? It's like one thing like to get convicted. Oh, okay, reasonable doubt. He could have maybe not done it, but again and again, dude. Like, come on, like give me a break.
Yeah, I don't know what Noam's on about.
Yeah, like Jesus, like my God. No, I'm sorry, man. Your moral integrity is
so bad. Then it gets even worse. He says, what the vultures dearly want is a public response, which then provides a public opening for an onslaught of venomous attacks. Many from just publicity seekers or cranks of all sorts, which are impossible to answer. How do you prove that you're not a neo-Nazi who wants to kill the Jews or a rapist or whatever charge comes along? That's particularly true now with the hysteria that has developed about abuse of women, which has reached a point that even questioning a charge is a crime worse than murder. It's like, yeah, dude, like you're literally going to get charged with a crime that's literally worse than murder if you question an abuse allegation. That's totally, totally.
It's like, it's also like an abuse. It's like hundreds of fucking people. Like,
yeah.
Dude, come on! Like, what are you doing? Let's not even keep reading this. Like, no.
No, it gets even worse. For virtually everyone who sees any of this, the reaction will be, where there's smoke, there's fire. Maybe raging fire. Whatever the facts, which few will even think of investigating. In general, It's best, I think, not to react unless directly questioned, particularly in the current mood, which I presume will fade away, even if not in time to prevent much torture and distress. Wow.
So, how much did Noam Chomsky know about what this guy was up to?
Well, he clearly knew that there were allegations being spread by the media. He just thought that Epstein needed to dodge them.
I just don't understand how, it's really mystifying. I don't know what people in the chat think. It's just, what is going through his mind? I mean, I don't want to sound hysterical, but either he's a moron and doesn't know what he's getting up to, or he knows what he's getting up to and he doesn't object. And then you kind of have to question if he's a participant. I mean, what else can you say? Like, people complain that guilt by association is not a thing, but I mean, at a certain point, if you're hanging out with a pedophile all the time, calling them your friend, writing them letters of recommendation, defending them public, like, it's just
giving them advice. Yeah, exactly. Giving them advice about how to maintain their public image is.
It's just really like, what are you doing? I mean, I just don't even know what to say. It's his moral, and the totality of his moral legacy is tarnished.
Yeah, it is absolutely tarnished. There's really no coming back from this.
Yeah, I mean,
disappointing.
All, so many brave stances that he took, others idiotic, like the defense of the Khmer Rouge. But so many stances that he took were so courageous, took so much moral fortitude, and he just pissed on all of it just to cavort with this freak in Greece, like, all for the good life or who knows what. What the fuck, man? Could have gone to Greece on your own.
I know.
Is it worth a private jet? Like, fucking, is it worth meeting Ehud Barak? What are you going to learn in meeting Ehud Barak? What are you going to fucking learn? What are you going to learn that you don't already know?
Well, it does show that what Epstein offered people was very seductive, which is access to certain people that they wouldn't otherwise have had access to. I think people find that very alluring. Can't discount that.
Yeah, I guess, but I mean, I don't. There's basically no one I'd want to meet that would be worth hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, there is nobody that I can think of. There's no prize that I could get, that I could win, that would make Jeffrey Epstein like someone I'd want to cavort with.
He even seemed to have had this weird intimate relationship with Epstein.
Yeah, no, I mean, the last emails we looked at, he was letting him stay at his private house. He was recommending doctors. Like, as Marcus says over here, it's just giving of advice. It really did have a deep personal relationship. It wasn't just they met a few times and talked, and Noam was, it's like, oh, I met Noam, I met Jeffrey Epstein at this MIT party, with some scientists, and we talked about evolutionary biology or something. No, that's not what happened. That is not what happened. They had a deep and meaningful relationship. And, I'll say this. Chomsky was, for, a young kind of left liberal in the war on terror years like myself, Chomsky basically was the guy that you could find that would lay out the truth about American imperialism and what was going on in the world for you. Like, it's easy to say, that Chomsky is, low level. He's not even a Marxist. He has so many stupid takes about Lenin. He has a lot of Philistine, philosophical takes maybe, and he's et cetera, et cetera. But regardless, like, if you were a young person in the US during that time period and you wanted to become educated on what was going on in the world from a non-pro-America perspective, Noam Chomsky was pretty much your gateway to that world.
Yeah, I mean, you also have to be a dogmatist not to realize that he's the only living public left intellectual. You can question whatever, but that is the case, right? So, I mean, for me, I think I think when I was like 12 or 13, it was like Chomsky, Naomi Klein, Actually, Norm Finkelstein.
Norm Finkelstein, yeah.
Because my uncle Merwan actually introduced me to Norm Finkelstein when I was very young. Yeah, but so did a lot of people. So, like a lot of people worked for like OSS and stuff like that in the Second World War.
Did
And
Chomsky work for American intelligence during that period?
yeah, I don't know. Ho Chi Minh worked for the OSS. Ho Chi Minh was a fucking OSS agent. He has an agent number. Doesn't make Ho Chi Minh an instrument of American imperialism. Means that he was collaborating with Americans to fight the Japanese.
But I will say, Chomsky's work at MIT does kind of show that he had this side, I think, because he did make that argument that essentially like any research that he was doing, for example, was completely neutral, and even if it ended up being used by the military-industrial complex, the need for academic freedom triumphed over that. So,
well, you know, I mean, as Carlos and I know, Chomsky is. I don't know about his contributions to linguistics because I don't know that much about linguistics, but when it comes to like computer science, he's actually a really big deal. Like the way, like the beginnings of the theory of language parsing, basically, like of you know, how expressions are broken up in a computer, so to speak, how they're organized semantically, that grammar, a lot of it was first theorized by Chomsky. So he has had a huge influence on, I mean, not just on the world through that alone.
I'm not a linguist of any sort, but from what I understand, his linguistic theory has largely been superseded. But in computer science, for sure, like he's the basis of basically all language design. You know, parser,
yeah, because
you know, like all of that stuff.
Parse trees, you know, that's Chomskyan grammar, from what I understand. So,
so yeah, the guy was important for sure.
Yeah,
intellectually,
obviously.
oh yeah, I mean, even if all of his theory isn't completely accepted today, he obviously contributed to science and linguistics. And
well, what I'm trying to say is that like it's still to this day in the realm of computer science, some of his theory is foundational. It's not super or in any sense. It's built on. It's kind of what I'm saying.
But I will say he did have this attitude about academia and research and academic freedom, where he basically acted like he could completely separate all of that from his politics.
Yeah, I mean that's naive. I think he probably even knew better. But
it's just like he knew better to hang out with Epstein.
Yeah.
But I'm saying there is a logic. I feel like that is connected to why he ended up being morally willing to compromise himself like this.
Yeah, I mean, it is always, as a researcher, it is, you know,
it honestly probably comes down to their personal relationship, like personal rapport. We obviously never know what that was. But,
yeah, we don't.
And I also, me personally, I think that both of them being Jewish has something to do with it in terms of like.
You're not allowed to say that. You're not allowed to say that. I'm just kidding.
I mean, maybe culturally they kind of connect in that way. I mean, from what I understand, Noam Chomsky's family was actually kind of Zionist before Zionism was cool, even though Chomsky himself ended up not being that way. But like, he grew up sort of in an environment where like being Jewish was very important, right? Whatever that meant for them. They had a certain way of expressing that and practicing that. And I'm guessing Epstein probably had something similar. So maybe there was that cultural affinity. I don't know.
Well, I mean, if you read the way Jeffrey Epstein talks about being Jewish and talks about Judaism, it's
oh my God,
it's terrible. It's really terrible stuff. It's so
anti-Semitic dog shit. Actually,
it's actually really it's an anti-Semitic self-conception.
Yes,
combined with like an egregious amount of supremacy, just sense of supremacy.
Like, I mean, just type in Goyim on the Epstein files yourself. I'm not going to go through all of this because I'm already,
Yeah,
but already type in Goyim on the Epstein.
Already in hot water.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Conceptualize things.
It's incredible, the Jewish supremacy. I mean, like, such modes of thinking are rightfully criticized in other groups, and for some reason, we're not allowed to mention that it is a operant force.
I think at this point, like, I think like we're past the point where you can't like criticize this type of thinking.
It's really bad. Like,
and like this is why Norman Finkelstein says, you know, I don't really use the word Zionism anymore. I use the term Jewish supremacy.
Yeah, it's scary.
You know?
I mean, some really do. I mean, people like Jeffrey Epstein really do see Goyim as less than believers.
And I imagine he probably had like a hierarchy, like, you know, white people are superior to black people, right? In his view, but Jews are superior to everyone.
Yeah, and I'm sure even within that community, because, you know, Jews are not really an ethnicity. I'm sorry,
right?
They're not.
So he probably had his own ranking within Judaism of who is you know, superior.
Like, I doubt he puts Ethiopians on the same level as him. You know?
Yeah.
That's the thing about supremacy, right? Supremacist modes of thinking. It even divides within the quote unquote supreme race. I mean, Hitler did the same shit, right?
Yeah.
Hitler had this like deeply like esoteric conception of Aryan supremacy, where of course there were some Aryans who dominated over the dumb proles who needed to be used, right?
Exactly.
And in fact, in many letters, he kind of was like mockingly like, socialist. Like, we use, the problem is with that term, but we don't really mean it. We don't give a shit about the people. The people are nothing. They're to be used for like the ultimate destiny of some abstract Aryan spirit.
Well, in terms of ranking within the chosen elect or whatever, even Israel does that in practice.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
no matter of state policy, they do that.
Yeah, you know, I knew a Mizrahim, and they told me how like a lot of the Mizrahim when they were first moving to Israel were like put in camps, and there's like videos of those camps being like, look at these Arabs, like, look at them, like these Easterners will, you know, like really looking down on them. So it's just,
they're Asiatic.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah, indeed, Andy. I was gonna say Chris Knight is the guy to look into if you want the details on Chomsky's research and the connection to the security establishment. I actually haven't read his book yet. I think it's called Decoding Chomsky, but yeah, that is the book to look into if you want more info on the side of Chomsky. Which is not something I'm happy about, because like, despite my disagreements with Chomsky, as I've had for a long time, like I had respect for him. You know, I did have respect for him.
Of course, politically hearing him bitch about the Constituent Assembly and Lenin.
Yeah, but I mean,
yeah,
that is like an area of like polite disagreements. You know, like we can have like polite disagreements on that issue, but like
I don't know, man.
His moralization about like communist policy is a little,
yeah, it's like this like fucking annoying moral. It's like this fucking annoying moralism of like, oh, you know, unlike the dirty Bolsheviks, like I would practice freedom. Like I would.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I agree with him or like even respect those particular opinions by him. I think I used to fall for that stuff. Like when I got into Chomsky back in the day, I was a libertarian socialist. Like because you're raised as an American to think that, okay, fascism is evil, but communism, you know, that's also evil because it's about total state control. But Noam Chomsky, you know, he's a libertarian socialist. He believes in freedom, liberty, but he's also a socialist. This is like the perfect ideology, man. Like when you're young, you don't know anything, and you don't really understand like all the anti-communist propaganda. Like finding like Noam Chomsky.
To all those people who pull that maneuver, I have this to say. So Sartre wrote Being in Nothingness, and in that book he had a formula, right? Being precedes essence. It's an inversion of something that Descartes said. Essence precedes being, right? Heidegger, when he read it, I think he wrote to Sartre, or he said somewhere, just because you flip words doesn't mean you solve the problem. Just because you throw the term democratic on socialist or anti-authoritarian on socialist doesn't mean you have solved the hard problem of seizing state power and winning civil war. It doesn't. It just means
right, exactly.
No one wants to live in a world that is nothing but iron discipline and authority. No one. It's not about that.
Well, there might be some guys really in the BDSM who would want that.
Okay, well, yeah. Anyway,
but yeah, you're right.
I I just hate that fucking maneuver. It's so cheap.
Yeah, and I'll say this, like, it was reading the history and actually looking deeper into the Bolsheviks and the Russian Revolution, but also reading about the Spanish anarchists and realizing, wait a second, like Chomsky acted like these guys had it all figured out and solved everything, but they actually like ran into all the same problems that the Bolsheviks did.
Bro, they got
Right?
ran through. They got
They
fucking
did get ran
wrecked.
through.
They got ran through.
They were not
Yeah,
prepared
right,
at all
bro.
for
The same way the
their-
Bolsheviks were, except the Bolsheviks were more prepared because they had a realistic conception of power, at least, and they understood like the basics of governance and state power. But
the Spanish anarchists didn't take the idea of power seriously whatsoever. I gotta be honest.
yeah, they didn't.
And they basically tailed the bourgeois Republicans in all but fucking name.
It's very difficult also to. I mean, obviously, it's like you want. There's the period of emergency where the concept of democracy makes no sense. But then the question is, once you're no longer in that period of emergency, how do you get out of a state of siege? You know?
Yeah.
And that is something that's never been solved. Unfortunately, also, it's not clear that the Soviet Union was ever out of a state of siege. Right? It's really not clear at all. So it's the problem of power is yet unsolved, and it doesn't help to be a Philistine about it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem. Like, I don't even disagree that like the Bolsheviks did like some egregious things and overstepped on some ways, but it's the moralizing about it and acting like, you know, oh, Lenin was part of the right. He's actually literally says Lenin was like the right wing of Marxism, unlike real Marxists like Pannekoek and Luxemburg, who believed in, you know, democracy. It's just
What I love is like they always talk about Rosa Luxemburg, and then you read Rosa Luxemburg's actual statements on the Russian Revolution.
yeah.
And she's not, trust me, she's not shitting on Lenin throughout it. You know what I'm saying?
Or even like her own history in the Polish party.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
she,
yeah.
Which
oh,
was
yeah.
ran with an
very
iron
arrogant.
fist.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Chomsky's washed, but Norman Finkelstein is the GOAT. I'm
He's
sorry,
goated.
but
Norman Finkelstein, you are goated.
so this guy,
Please come on our cast.
this guy Trivers. I
Okay,
guess
who
he
is
was-
this asshole? I want to look him up.
Some asshole was basically asked Epstein, not Epstein, sorry, opposite, Finkelstein, if he wanted to meet Epstein and Dershowitz. And and this is how Finkelstein reacts to this Trivers guy. He shows the testimony from the court case. Harvard law professor Alan Dershowitz was around Epstein frequently. Dershowitz was so comfortable with the sex that was going on, he would even come and chat with Epstein while I was giving oral sex to Epstein. And then he quotes that disgusting, depraved shit. And then he says, my guess is, if Epstein put your daughter at age 15 in such a position, you wouldn't publicly describe him as a friend and person of integrity. In fact, I would hope you'd promptly throttle both Epstein and Dershowitz. Like, what a great response right there.
What a goat, bro. No, I looked up the Trivers guy. He's into like natural selection of social behavior. So you know that guy is
Yeah,
like
he's
a
like an
crypto
Evo
Nazi.
psych guy.
Huh?
He's like an Evo.
Yeah, so you know
Psych
he's
guy.
like a crypto Nazi, basically.
Yeah. It's just like so
Dershowitz
funny.
just,
Like, why would you ask Norman Finkelstein if he wants to meet Dershowitz and Epstein? Like, Dershowitz is his like number one.
Dershowitz like ruined his life.
Yeah, I guess maybe he was thinking, oh, well, Finkelstein is Jewish, and so just like me, his Jewish identity will supersede everything, and we'll all get along, and we'll be like we're in the tribe together. But it's like, no, Finkelstein is not like you guys. Finkelstein is a man of principle and integrity. Like, I don't agree with some things he said. I highly disagree with, but he clearly is a man who has principles and integrity, which is not something you can say about Chomsky. You're muted, by the way.
Also, they would talk while he was getting blown. Like,
I know, no, there's so many depraved little details in this stuff.
what the fuck are we dealing? Like, what? I don't even know what.
It's Solo. This is
It
Solo.
really is. Yeah, it really is, man.
Like, Solo was a documentary. Pasolini was trying to tell us something.
Yeah. Well, about about unbridled power.
Yeah.
Right?
Like people are comparing this to Eyes Wide Shut, but honestly, this is more Solo than Eyes Wide Shut.
Yeah, I mean it unbridled power.
It's just unnecessarily cruel and depraved.
And that's kind of,
and it's really one of those things where like power revels in doing that because it can.
And then it's also quote unquote power as a rule selects for those people too, right? And it's a dialectic, but yeah, it does intensify those tendencies, right? Once you have that unbridled power, once there's no accountability, it's very disturbing. And how how that violence expresses itself libidinally in an attack on those who are least able to defend themselves, those who are least able to ward off the vengeance of power, right? Like this, it's just so awful. It's just so fucking awful, man. Like how many lives did these people ruin? How many? Children, dude, kids.
Couldn't begin to count how many.
Like how are people, how are we in trouble, Donald, for shit we've said on here? How are we considered the problem? How is that? How are we? And I'm talking more about like, other fucking shit, but it's just ridiculous, man. Like,
yeah, and the thing is the ruling class thought this was never going to come to the surface. They thought they were going to get away with this forever.
Yeah, man. I mean, is there any shit on? Okay, is there some other stuff on? What else is?
I wanted to look at the Elon stuff because it's actually hilarious.
Yeah.
And Elon is trying to spin it to make him look like a good guy, but it's like, no, Elon, you don't look like a good guy here. You just look like, first of all, you look like a loser, and you look evil. So, hold on. So Elon is messaging Epstein in 2012, and Epstein is asked, how many people will you be for the heli to the island? So he's getting Elon a helicopter to the island, and Elon says, probably just Tallulah and me. What day/night will be the wildest party on? It's obviously a typo. It's supposed to be your island, but it looks like he's saying equals our island. And so basically, this is Elon's trying to get an invite to the island. But what's weird is that he's like bringing his wife with him. So I guess you could say, well, if Elon was like trying to get to the island to like prey on children, like why would he bring his wife with him?
Wait, which like Grimes?
Tallulah. No, this is before Grimes. This is 2012.
The fuck is Tallulah?
It's his first wife.
Yeah. But at the same time, like these elites,
what the fuck is this woman?
They have no morality. They have no principles. They have no standards. Like they are all depraved and disgusting people. So like, I wouldn't be surprised if like marriage means like nothing to them, and they're both.
Yeah, I mean, come on, who gives?
And they were both into like doing depraved stuff together,
Yeah. But it's not weird to invite your wife to stuff like this if you're a cuck. For sure.
It's not weird to invite your wife to things. No, it's not weird, but it is weird to invite them to the island where the sex trafficker is known to have wild parties,
Yeah, I don't know. It's at this point everything is weird.
Yeah.
And he's yeah. And then I've seen Musk on Twitter being like, prosecute them. It's like, okay, well, I don't know what you're doing here.
You got to show the email. You got to show the email where he has Epstein has Ghislaine Maxwell reply for him and say, actually, we wrap the parties up, so don't bother coming.
Yeah, I need to find that real quick. But so this is
like, we don't want to deal with this fucking.
He's like, fuck this guy. He's a loser.
Yeah, and basically, it's Elon is trying to get Epstein to invite him to the island, and he's asking, when's the wildest party gonna be?
Well, this kind of reads like someone who did get the invite, but they're like waffling about.
Well,
No, this reads like someone who's trying to get invited, but they're not like.
Well, the guy's
invited.
sending a helicopter for him. How much? What
Oh, yeah.
more of an invite do you need? He's like, he spends like 2 weeks debating the logistics. Like,
yeah, well, I think he
Come on, dude.
wanted to make sure that his trip to the island, he made the most of it, I guess. But yeah, here it is.
I was thinking of flying down for an epic vacation.
Actually, this might be fake. I heard there were some fake Elon emails going around, but yeah, because hi Jeff, I was thinking of flying down for an epic vacation. Like,
Epic
who talks
vacation.
like that? Epic island vacation. Like,
No, he does that. He
Oh,
does.
I guess it is Elon.
does.
Elon wants so bad to be based and cool, but he's just such a lame.
Like he even said, "Thank you, good sir. The only thing missing is him tipping the fedora."
Hold on, let me
really
make sure this
talk
is
like
actually
this.
in the files real quick, though.
Girls
Oh.
FTW. Girls.
Epic island vacation.
This reads like a 4chan. Like,
Yeah, I don't know if this is
post.
real. Nothing came up when I looked up Epic Island Vacation in the files.
Okay, so this might be bullshit.
This might be fake.
They
False
fooled
alarm.
me.
False alarm, guys. Sorry. Spreading disinformation.
Not
There's
that
so
of a
much
loser.
fake stuff going around too. That's the thing. It's really hard to talk about this with all the fake stuff going around and stuff within the files. That is.
Well, we should look at Trump shit.
Yeah. Hold on. There are a lot of fake emails. Okay, I think I found it. But yeah, Elon is I think this one's real. Hold on. Okay, here's another one where this guy Leslie Groff is emailing Epstein, and he says, just a reminder, Elon Musk was asking about coming to your island on January 2nd. And oh, here's another one that's interesting where he says he says, understood. I will see you on St. Barth. The ratio on my island it's Tallulah, not Talila, whatever. Uncomfortable. Elon Musk writes on December 25th, do you have any parties planned? I've been working to the edge of sanity this year, and so once my kids head home after Christmas, I really want to hit the party scene in St. Bart's or elsewhere and let loose. The invitation is much appreciated, but a peaceful island experience is the opposite of what I'm looking for. Huh. Wow. What are you looking for, Elon? What were you looking for?
Yeah, who knows? I mean, there's nothing too damning here, to be honest. It's kind of, I mean.
Yeah.
I can
sounds
fill in
like
the blanks.
It just sounds like two losers getting together. Who cares?
Yeah. But it does show that Epstein and Elon Musk had a relationship.
Yeah, well, that's hardly surprising.
It's hardly surprising, but
Yeah.
the way Elon talks about this stuff, he acts like he has some.
Yeah, he's like trying to be like, we gotta prosecute people who are in the files. It's like, okay, man, but you were also cavorting with this asshole, so chill. If you're so morally and like impeachable, why the fuck are you hanging out with? Once again, why are you hanging out with a convicted sex offender?
Yeah.
Do you remember a few months back when Trump and Elon Musk were like on the public outs over that Doge thing? And then he made that tweet that was like, oh, I know the truth about Trump. He's in the Epstein files. And it was like a whole thing for like a few weeks.
Well, like everyone knew that. Like, good, great. Thank you, Elon. God, what
But he's a fucking moron.
I think he's like my least favorite person in the world, actually.
He really is just the worst. There's no redeeming things about him.
He's just so annoying. He's also like, not only is he just the worst morally, he's just like an annoying person.
And he didn't get to go to the island. I'm sure deep down he's like upset about that. He's like, oh man,
Still.
I never actually got to go to the island. They wouldn't let me on because I wasn't cool enough. If
Basically,
only I was cooler.
his whole personality is that. If only I was cooler.
$500 billion cannot unlame you.
Yeah,
Evidently.
basically, he's still a lame.
So yeah, let's look into some of the Trump stuff. Hold on. Okay, there is some fabricated stuff about Trump. And
Yeah, for real. Marcus hits the nail on the head again.
Yeah, only Elon could be too cringe.
They're like, get this guy out of here. Exactly.
But you can't tell me like Alan Dershowitz is fun to hang out with.
Alan Dershowitz is probably so annoying.
Even Alan Dershowitz, like, look at this fucking loser. Who invited this guy?
Oh my god! Imagine having to hang out with Alan Dershowitz. Every moment would just be you would just be expending the maximum amount of energy to not just deck him in the face as hard as you can. Oh my god. Okay, what else is there? I mean, there's got to be some more Trump shit, man.
Oh yeah, there is. Hold on.
There's a lot.
Isn't he named like
before
10,000?
we there is one. I do want to talk about this one. That was this one file in the release that was just so insane and crazy that I suspect it's fake, or just based on like a fake.
Which one is this? Is it graphic?
It is. That's why I don't really want to like.
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't. Let's not.
But I'll just explain what's in the file and what it.
Let's not get too graphic, though.
I'm not gonna. Don't worry. I'm not gonna get too graphic. I know.
No, don't get the YouTube shut down.
But there is basically a claim in one of the files that that there was ritualistic sacrifice, and George W. Bush Bush 1, was involved. And some of the details are just so ridiculous and graphic and
so actual eyes wide shut shit.
Yeah, beyond eyes wide shut.
Yeah,
beyond solo stuff. It's the kind of thing where it's like, okay, maybe this is kind of thrown in there to shit code things.
I think so. It really is. I mean, come on. I will 100% not believe that unless I see the most damning evidence ever, because it sounds completely.
Well, I'm skeptical because it sounds like it's lifted straight from those like Illuminati conspiracy theory YouTube videos.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, the whole ritualistic child sacrifice shit doesn't. I'm not buying it.
Yeah, I feel like that's where it gets a little ridiculous. When you start like bringing like occult type stuff into it, that is where it gets a little too crazy.
Like, satanic fucking nonsense thing, yeah.
I mean, MAGA Christians love that shit though.
They do, but their
fave
is literally like in the fight. Like, I just don't get them.
Well, you're not supposed to talk about that. You're supposed to talk about everybody else.
Yeah. He was just infiltrating the pedophile ring, doing pedophilic things to win there.
That's an actual thing that people believe.
I'm sure, yeah. I mean, the amount of copium these morons produce is unbelievable.
It's pure projection at every point with them.
I'm trying to think of some other ones that are.
Yeah, I'm trying to find more stuff about Donald Trump.
I mean, there already was a ton of stuff.
The dog that didn't bark. Wait, I'm looking into files right now, and I click on one of them, and it says page not found. I typed in Donald Trump, and I'm looking at the files. Page not found. So they're taking stuff out of here, it looks like. What the fuck? God damn it. Yeah, this is kind of weird. So let me try this one. Yeah, this one works. This claims. Yeah, that's a good point. That some of this stuff is just the FBI hotline. Anybody can call that and say weird shit. I will say though, but Chuck Johnson stuff, he is an actual federal informant saying this stuff about Trump being compromised by Mossad. Like that doesn't mean it's true per se. Obviously, just because he's a federal informant doesn't mean it's true. Obviously, but he isn't just a random guy calling a hotline. Like he actually was like a real asset that was being
I mean, there are tips and shit, but depending on when it was reported, there could be something there. I mean, nobody knew who Epstein was until like just a few years ago.
Yeah.
But what reason would some rando have to do that in like 2012, for example?
Right.
Oh my God, Candace Owens is going nuts.
Candace Owens is vindicated, bro.
Do we have a
Oh,
clip?
she's not. She thinks it's a cabal of Satanists. Like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, the whole Satanist thing is really annoying.
I mean, they've been saying that same shit since like John Birch, you know, like the John Birch Society and Moral Majority and all that crap.
So this is about Trump. It's based on an interview with a victim, and they claim that they have recordings of Donald Trump, Jeffrey Epstein, and Ghislaine Maxwell discussing marketing strategies for high-profile sex parties at the Donald Trump golf course. So then they say,
yeah.
However, Redacted mailed the recordings to a lawyer in the Cayman Islands. Redacted was part of the Sinaloa cartel and worked closely with Epstein and Maxwell. However, he was able to walk away from the cartel due to his status with Epstein and Maxwell. In recordings, Trump stated that he was aware of the underage sex parties and charged the house money of the golf course to fund the sex parties. Well, let's hear the recording. You know, if this is actually a recording, it must be out there somewhere.
Read the last claim real quick.
Wait, go back. Can you zoom in?
Right there.
Yeah. Redacted witnessed Robin Leach strangle a young girl during a sex party. He claims she is buried beneath a 19th hole at the Donald Trump. What the fuck? This is just...
This sounds insane.
Yeah, this just sounds so insane.
Bugged.
Yeah, this shit sounds bugged, bro. I don't think this is...
Only that if he spoke about the incident he witnessed, he would end up in a hole as well. Redacted gave Maxwell the idea to put cameras in at the golf course to review the cartel members, understand how to market for 12 to 14-year-old victims to the cartel.
We got Mexican cartel in the mix.
Yeah, that's just crazy. I don't know if obviously this is to be taken with a grain of salt. But
it's like the sequel to The Beekeeper.
Yeah.
Like
claims made before 2016. Yeah, that's a very good point. That was a document from 2021.
Yeah, it's dog shit.
So, yeah, that's one of the things involving Donald Trump.
I mean, yeah, to be honest, there's not as much as I'd realized in this. There's a lot of bullshit, in other words.
Yes, exactly. And that is the problem with the way this is being done, is that we're not going to get like real investigations done by some kind of dispassionate, serious investigatory body that can actually neutrally go through the facts and look into these leads and actually put all these claims together. Like, we're just going to get a dump of all these files, many of which have no context whatsoever.
Yeah. To be honest, if the demon rats were worth anything, they would, the next moment they get executive power, just put as much resources as possible. But of course, the problem is that then they would indict, you know. Like,
exactly.
They get caught in the crosshairs.
Yeah. Well, we wouldn't, because
obviously,
but like I'm not saying
a lot of Democrats like Bill Clinton, who's credibly accused.
Oh yeah, he'd be fucked, bro. That guy's cooked. What a scumbag.
But even people that haven't been mentioned, or like there's more than 1 million files that were released. Like people have not gone through even like 1% of it. There's a
It's like
ton of shit.
the one time we should be using AI to like
Just
go
feed
the
it all into
custom
an
law.
LLM.
Yeah. Analyze it. Highlight. Yeah.
Hold on, I'm looking something up. Keep talking.
No, I mean, there's, it's kind of just, that's the problem. It's just so much dog shit. And
Yeah, a lot of this stuff about Trump is I'd like we need more investigation. As much as I am willing to believe like the most depraved evils about these people, it's we got to be careful about what we jump.
oh man,
I just don't understand what I'm supposed to make of it. Doesn't seem to have any real consequence for anything, to be honest.
I don't know if this is a real one.
But I mean, Epstein was Trump's closest friend for 10 years. To use Epstein's own word.
They were like, yeah, that's crazy, dude. That's
He's in a raping pod.
Yeah, basically.
So
there's one claim that's been getting a lot of publicity. The claim about I guess the pageant girls, and then
right.
Yeah, that one's extremely graphic as well. I don't know how believable that one is either.
If anything, that's the most believable one to me.
Well, I mean, just like the nature of how it's described seems.
One thing to keep in mind, though, is like if you were a victim of this stuff, imagine how insane it would drive you. Like imagine the trauma and how difficult it would be to objectively recollect these instances to an investigator, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like I feel like there is a sense that a lot of these testimonies might be like reacting to real stuff that's happened, but because of the trauma and because of just the gravity of the crimes, that they're exaggerating things a little bit because it's just such a psychologically overbearing thing in order to correct what happened.
Yeah, I don't want to deny anyone's, it's just, listen, I mean, I think what's not in dispute is just that they're pedophiles.
Yes.
How exactly they, who the victims are is the most important thing. And then, but how exactly it went down is sort of secondary, because the most important thing is just that they're fucking criminals.
I mean, the corollary to that is who else was involved as well. Like, who else is implicated in the things these people were doing?
Yeah, I know. Wait, did the Clintons go to the island? They did, right?
Bill did, yeah.
Yeah, Bill did, yeah.
Not Hillary.
Hillary seems to be the one with the sense in that relationship.
Yeah, dude.
Okay, here's something from Trump that's pretty damn. It was something that was said under sworn testimony in 2016. I personally witnessed defendant Donald Trump telling the plaintiff that she shouldn't ever say anything if she didn't want to disappear like the 12-year-old female, that he was capable of having her whole family killed. After the employment of Mr. Epstein in the year 2000, I was personally threatened by Mr. Epstein and that I would be killed and my family is killed as well if I disclosed any of the physical and sexual abuse of minor females I had personally witnessed by Mr. Epstein. I'm coming forward to swear to the truthfulness of the physical and sexual abuse I personally witnessed of minor females at the hands of Mr. Trump and Mr. Epstein, including the plaintiff, during the time of my employment from the years 1990 to 2000 for Mr. Epstein. I swear to these facts under penalty of perjury, even though I fully understand that the life of myself and my family is now in grave danger.
Wow.
So that is not just an anonymous tip, but
No,
somebody
that's
testifying under
yeah.
perjury.
And look at the date, right?
Yeah, so there is evidence that Trump is a pedophile in these files.
Oh, yeah.
There's definitely evidence. There's some fake stuff in there, and I'm sure the strategy of the MAGA people will be to like point out some of the stuff that seems fake or unbelievable and use that to basically completely discredit the rest of it.
Yeah. Well, we know that they're gonna do a lot of copium for their daddy.
Yeah, and Elon's already doing it.
Yeah, maybe we should look at. Can you find a video? Can you find the Epstein Mamdani the putative Epstein Mamdani connection? Because I found this hilarious.
Oh, do you want to talk about the Mamdani connection?
Yeah. We should.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So let's just look up. It's Mira Nair is Mamdani's mother's name, right?
Yeah. A fantastic director.
So yeah, Mamdani's mother has turned up in the Epstein files. Director Mira Nair. Yeah, here it is. Just left Ghislaine's townhouse after party for film. Bill Clinton and Jeff Bezos were there. Jean Pagozzi, director Mira Nair. So, yeah, Zoran's mother was at a party with Ghislaine Maxwell.
Wait, go back, because I want to see what he has to say about the movie.
That's all there was.
No, there was a paragraph.
Sorry. Yes, there was another paragraph. Film received tepid reaction, although women like it much more. Hillary Swank and gear at stupid party in Bloomingdale's cheap sportswear department. Very weird. Studio went for free party from store on Windows for a month. Going to be in Wall Street tomorrow. More to come. Actually.
It just sounds like he was at an event she was at. That's literally it. It's not like he was hosting either.
The email's also not from Epstein. It's from the other person to Epstein.
Yeah. So I'm confused. That's it? That's the extent of their putative connection?
Well, yes, that she was at a party with them.
That's enough for MAGA to go wild, though.
So
it's enough for a lot of people to go wild. Like people are making AI.
So let me get this right. In their brains, Trump can be mentioned 10,000 times. There can be sworn statements saying that he abused children. But Mamdani's mom is at a party where Epstein is. And Mamdani is the one who's under suspicion.
It's actually not even clear that Epstein was at the party. It sounds like
Ghislaine Maxwell.
Right.
I will say, though, in 2018, it was known that Ghislaine Maxwell was very sus and was close with Jeffrey Epstein, that Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile.
Yeah, but it doesn't sound like they hosted. Were they the ones hosting this event?
Ghislaine's townhouse.
Yeah.
Yes, it was hosted by Maxwell.
Oh, okay, well, that is kind of weird.
Yeah, it is bad. It is bad.
That's not a good
But it doesn't prove that Zoran is controlled by Mossad and that like this was all like all planned from the beginning. And
well, there like some right-wing people are saying that Mamdani kind of looks like Epstein, so now.
Oh my God! Yes, they're trying to say that
Epstein
that's the love child.
Hold on, let me look for some ridiculous
These
stuff.
People, the copium is unbelievable. Their like literal like ruler is a pedo who was best friends with Epstein. Huh?
Their capacity to hallucinate things into existence is remarkable.
It's remarkable. They have superpowers. I mean, I just don't understand how they're getting.
It's so ridiculous.
The absurdity is.
They're making AI images of Mamdani, baby Mamdani, his mom, Clinton, and Epstein.
That's clearly AI too.
Oh yeah, it's clearly AI, but like
the contrast between the right and left side.
I know. It's like, how does it? I don't think anyone's falling for this. Well, maybe some people are that stupid.
No, there's definitely morons falling for this. Are you kidding me?
It's just so ridiculous.
It's just so bad, dude.
And I'll say this, like, I'm not even like trying to defend Mamdani hardcore right here. Like, I'm mad at him right now. I think a lot of people across the board are mad at him for various reasons, but
yeah, but
you don't need to like.
Yeah, but hearing right-wing people try to like implicate him in a pedo ring.
Yeah, come on.
When Trump is actually a pedophile that they defend every day.
Yeah.
It's despicable, and they're not going to get away with it, like you can't let them off the hook for that. It's just levels of chicanery, and it's just depraved. It's really depraved. Yeah, it really does look like a Photoshop joke. It's like the AI is not even being
bad.
Photoshop. Like a shitty photo, like someone with like 30 minutes of YouTube training in Photoshop could do that.
I will say the Epstein interview, I watched some of it.
Oh, okay.
It's extremely boring.
Oh, okay. Well, show us some of the greatest hits then.
Yeah, I'll try to find some of the greatest hits because it's pretty boring, I'll be honest. But there is some funny parts in here where he's like, it kind of shows how much he is like the personification of like capital. And Bannon is like, well, all right, let me get this up.
Out of curiosity, I typed in Alan Dershowitz because he's genuinely revolting, and I find him like in that way just hilarious. And he's on News Nation saying, "I want all the evidence out so that the accusers tell their story, and the people accused can refute the evidence." Like, you're cooked, bro. You're done. You're fucking done, dude.
Yeah, that is total cope.
Over for you, dude.
Blackstone, the top 100 financial guys, and let's throw in a couple of Nobel economists, and let's throw in the best professors at Wharton, at Harvard, at Stanford. Do you think that there's anybody that understands money or understands the world's financial system as good as you?
There must be.
But it doesn't come to the top of the head.
No.
Okay, fine. Now
Is
that
that
now that I've gotten that, let's go back to 1990. In that arc from the fall of the Berlin Wall to 2008.
Good.
We started with the implosion in Tokyo of the Japanese economy, Japanese financial markets. We had the huge run up in internet stocks, right? We had the implosion of that in 2000. The bankruptcy of Drexel Burnham in 90, implosion of Japan, huge run up in equity markets for the internet, implosion of the internet in 2000, 10 years later roughly. And then this run up through the Iraq War and all that, the run up to 2008. Every 10 years it seems like we're in some sort of 10 years before the 1990s was the 70s.
You sound like an astrologer.
Okay.
And not a finance person.
You're supposed to be a mathematician. It just seems to me a pattern of every 10 years.
That's misleading. That's exactly right. Because people like to see patterns. People like to see patterns where there are none.
So a pattern of a financial crisis every 10 years is just
fucking crises.
I know.
That is a well-established fact.
Is he disputing that? Because you
It's a
can count the
well-established
number of
fact.
years.
Not even the most milquetoast fucking like orthodox economist would deny that.
Yeah, like everybody knows there's a boom bust cycle, but according to Epstein, that's just like astrology.
Yeah, you're an astrologer.
Yeah, and Indy Dandy makes a good point that this is basically just like Bannon coaching Epstein for an interview.
But like an interview to the police or an interview like
a media interview?
Well, part of Epstein's relationship with Bannon was that Bannon was going to make a documentary that was going to redeem Jeffrey Epstein, basically. And Noam Chomsky was actually going to participate in this documentary.
How is that going to work?
I don't know. But I guess the idea was that like the kind of anti-Me Too movement and this kind of like anti-feminism thing in the alt-right was going to be like used in order to basically salvage Epstein's image. And Bannon was basically saying like, I got people in the far right that I can kind of use to manipulate things and try to like salvage your image. And so they were going to make a documentary to save the image of Jeffrey Epstein. And I think this is actually like maybe coaching for that interview, or maybe they were going to use some of this footage for the interview or for the documentary, but so we'll see.
It's in my mind.
Yes.
Long-term capital, that had to be bailed out back in the late 90s when everybody panicked. And that wasn't that bailout today would look small, and it was a $5 billion or was $30 billion.
Businesses fail all the time.
But long-term capital, the Federal Reserve stepped in.
But I'm saying people go bad. Things go bad all the time.
Yes, the local,
Things
you're
go
correct.
bad.
The
Thanks,
audience is
man.
watching this, the little
Deep
guys,
shit.
they go bankrupt all the time and nobody gives a shit. You know why? They're a little guy. But when long-term capital management goes bankrupt, or Bear Stearns goes bankrupt, or Lehman Brothers goes bankrupt, people care because
it's an unfair characterization.
Why do you say that?
Because again, it's the complexity of the situation. If you think about you have a complex system. You have your body. Now, in fact, the little guy is my finger. This is.
And Bear Stearns is your heart.
That's correct. The banking system is my heart. The system, I can't risk my because remember,
Okay,
it's not
so
only my.
You haven't been able to name.
Hang on.
You haven't.
What,
hang on. No, hang on.
I was trying to hang. I wanted to see if the hang on worked.
No,
It
you
didn't
haven't
work.
been able. You're not good enough yet. You're like junior wizard.
That's clear that they're coaching him.
I just want to say that like this is gonna sound kind of fucked up to say, but this guy's like the personification of finance capital.
Yeah, he's so
Yes, that's why I chose this part of the interview.
He's like vacuous, and I think he knows better, but doesn't want to say it. And
Because Bannon is basically like doing Mr. Populist, like, oh, we need to like, don't you think that it's unfair that like the big banks get bailed out and then all the little guys get screwed?
And his answer was basically,
just like, no, that's not, I don't care. It's actually more complex than that,
Well, he seems to be suggesting it's like, well, you need to bail them out, otherwise nothing else would function.
Right. But the little guys don't matter,
Which is very much like a self-conception of finance capital.
Right, exactly. He sees himself as like the nervous system of capitalism, and if you can lose a finger, but you can't lose the nervous system. You can't lose the real brain geniuses like Jeffrey Epstein.
even though he's a
Trying to
total
do
moron.
it. You haven't.
Yes.
I'll say, since we can't name another guy that's as good as you. Now, there may be a couple out there. You're not bragging, humble.
What?
It had to be sometime.
humble.
Please tell me there was some time before you went to jail and basically got cut off from daily information in the summer of 2008 that you started to get very nervous that this complex system, that something was deeply wrong.
Okay, first, let's go back. When I say no one understands the system better than I do, it doesn't mean I
You always
understand.
sound like a doctor. You're afraid he's going to get sued for giving a thing.
Yes,
You're not taking on any liability.
I think you gotta worry about more than just,
Yeah, no. But the word understand is the problem.
Okay.
I don't understand the system. So I don't understand the financial
Will you
system.
please stop? You cannot sit here and tell me.
no.
What we just went through, I'll go through again. The hedge fund managers, the money managers, the central bankers, the commercial bankers, the heads of the investment banks, the heads of all the trading desks, the top economists, and I'll throw in the business school lecturers at Stanford. Of all the top 200, 250, you can't name at the top of your head the guys are at least at your level. You have to understand it somewhat.
No. Sorry. We all don't understand it.
It's just that's enough. I can't even like stand this guy. Like,
Yeah, he's despicable and annoying.
so
and
despicable. And
Also
it's
very vacuous and not interesting.
He's so vacuous and boring and uninteresting. Like,
And had nothing to say. He said nothing in like 3 minutes of us watching that. Don't you have anything else that's fun, like him talking about ants and evolution?
there was the part of him talking about the hard problem of consciousness.
Oh, please.
Oh,
put
yeah.
that on, please.
Well, put it on, yeah.
It's really funny.
I wanna
It's
see
really
it.
funny that this is like he's a hard problem of consciousness guy.
China, you're in good company.
Yeah. Hold on, it's at 126. Yeah, it's we get a little taste of the philosophy of Epstein.
My God.
Meet the ball. The room moved. It's imperceptible. You can't really perceive that motion, but they attracted each other with certain ratios. So he started to be able to measure things in the physical world, and that was great advances. It also, now you wanted to move very quickly. Unfortunately, most people, especially in the 20th century, 19th century, said, well, like Newton, let's measure everything. Let's measure people's behavior. Let's measure their psychology. Let's measure their health. You go to we could have my blood test. Let's measure everything. We measure Wall Street.
Their voting habits.
Measure, measure, measure. Can we put a number on how much I care for my wife? Could I put a number on how I feel? And we tried, unfortunately, we tried to mathematize the finer things in life, and then recognized that there's things that, unfortunately, just fall outside. Schrodinger wrote a very famous book about what is life. He was trying to figure out a way, can he describe the difference formulaically between things that are alive and things that are dead? The answer is no. The things that are alive in my world are miracles, not magic. Magic has a bad connotation, trying to hide things.
You don't believe in the spirit or the soul? That's what animates people, is your spirit or your soul. That's
No.
Have you ever seen someone die? When they die, their spirit leaves.
Their soul leaves, no question. So in
There's
fact,
no question to you about
no
that.
question.
There's no question to you that there is some animating life force within us that leaves when you're dead.
Yes, in fact, I refer to the soul. This obviously is certain. The questions in the past, even
Because
during
people would normally think you were soulless. So
Thank you.
but have you talk about you actually believe in it and have done some thinking about it is pretty shocking in its own right, isn't it?
Well, again, mathematics, Leibniz thought.
We know Newton was at Cambridge, and he was the head of the math department, right? He's a professor, essentially.
Yes.
But Leibniz, was Leibniz a German professor?
Yes, but what Leibniz said is the soul is so strange because God took chemicals, which is simply the material, like tables, and he somehow made this material able to have a thought. How strange is that?
There was no
Not only
periodic
does it
table or
have a
concept
soul.
of
I knew this
chemicals
was
in the
already
age of
wrong.
Leibniz. This is the worst description of monadology I have ever heard. Like, this would get you a F in an intro philosophy course if you said that shit about Leibniz. In fact, you'd be kicked out of the university for saying this shit. Unbelievable.
There's something about watching this decrepit golem talk about souls that's
I know.
weird. I gotta be
And
honest.
Bannon even was like, dude, like everybody who's gonna be watching this, they're gonna think that you're soulless. That's their perception of you. But man, this is good stuff. You believe in the human soul. You believe in the human spirit. This is good stuff to humanize you.
I believe the humans have souls, just not me.
I love how Bannon was trying to Nietzsche pill to talk about soul by referring to soul as vital principle. Or not even like Nietzsche, more like fucking Henri Bergson, just like
yeah. Well, Bannon is actually someone who has read philosophy.
I'm sure he's a Bergsonian. I'm sure that's actually
he is very into all that irrationalist philosophy.
Yeah, like élan vital bullshit.
Yes, I actually read a pretty interesting book about Bannon, and he actually does read all these crank fascist philosophers, and he actually kind of has synthesized them into his own weird version of it.
Yeah.
And yes, this is a very good point. This guy talks about how his Ashkenazi Jewish IQ makes him superior to everyone else,
even though he can't write or read or speak
but when you ask him to say something interesting or say something philosophical, it's just the most banal and stupid, boring shit.
Yeah, he's just what a fuck.
It's like, yeah, man, like in the Enlightenment, we came up with physics and we wanted to measure everything and we just keep measuring everything and everything and everything. But the human soul, that's something that you can't measure. And that's really why miracles exist. It's just, bro, is this
Holy shit.
is this like
Holy shit.
freshman like theology class and like some like stupid bro just
This
like
is the
I don't
worst
know.
kid in the class who smokes way too much weed talking. This is not even like a sharp undergraduate student. This is like the dumbest undergraduate student.
Yeah, this is like I had more interesting conversations with my stoner friends in high school, to be honest, though. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
Are you kidding me? The average stoner is infinitely more interesting than this fucking dude.
he has all these resources, all this connection, but all he can think of is just, is boring nonsense, which, I think it just goes to show that, like, you can be rich and powerful and everything, but there's no substitute for just, like, reading books and educating yourself. You can have the highest IQ in the world. You can have, like, all these scientists on dial, but in the end, like, it doesn't actually make you smart.
It's not a substitute for thinking.
It's not, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for being genuinely curious, and I don't know, he's really stupid, quite frankly. I mean, maybe he's not in some sense because he's good at manipulating people. I don't know what his special gifts are, but from the point of view of just listening to him, he sounds like a complete moron.
Absolute moron. I mean, it helps when you have more money than God, bro.
Yeah.
It's easy to manipulate people with money.
What else is there to look at? Should we look at Hillary Clinton's wonderful essay?
Yeah, that could be a good way to cap things off.
Let's do it.
So Hillary Clinton, for some reason, has decided that she is going to lecture us about the evils of MAGA, which, like, don't get me wrong, I agree with the, that MAGA is evil and everything, but let me bring it up real quick.
We've given analyses of this throughout our stream, obviously.
Yeah.
The quote-unquote
we've talked a lot about Epstein, and I'm sure we'll have to talk about it more, but
yeah, god damn it.
The saga will continue.
Fuck this guy.
This is honestly just talking about Epstein is like, it's a way for me to stay sane. Just,
I mean, I feel 3 times dumber by the end of this conversation.
It functions the exact opposite for me. I feel like I'm losing sanity every time.
Yeah, I lose insanity.
Yeah, I don't know. Talking about these things helps me like understand them and process.
Like I'm sort of lost as a historical materialist here. What to make of this?
Right.
Shit.
I mean, well, maybe we can talk about that real quick. It's like, how do you deal with this stuff in terms of historical materialism? Right? Like, because clearly Epstein is a great man of history in the sense that he is someone who through his through his power and through his connections was able to become a world historical actor. His agency as an individual did have major historical implications.
Well, it's also important to think about I mean, we're not going to get into what is historical materialism, but as part of that question, what is the scope or what is the object of historical materialism? Right. I don't really think any theory of history can explain give exhaustive explanation at the granular level. That's not really possible for any theory if you think about it. We generally have to look at emergent behavior, collective behavior. And in that sense, I think like historical materialism above all is a study of historical trajectories. Right?
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
So the quote unquote particularities are part of that story, but the point of talking about trajectories is that they're also relatively insensitive to fluctuations like personalities and stuff like that.
Right.
That being said, like historical materialism in a more concrete sense is kind of like a study of, whose object is class struggle. I mean, it's always a question of how classes are organized. And one of the ways that the ruling class obviously is organized is through the use of conspiracy, right? They have networks that are not accessible to the mass. And this is kind of like a weird instance of like a network that is cohered by this person, but that brings together a lot of different factions. And on the one hand, it is a group that operates in its own interest, but it also, I think we've talked about this before, tries to kind of create an interface below sort of the legal surface, which allows all kinds of collusion and deals to happen. It's sort of like an extrajudicial mechanism for class rule.
Yeah, it's like this existence of, I guess it's like a parastate, really.
Yeah.
It's like this underground parastate that isn't mediated by the rule of law, but that's instead mediated almost like by pure brute force of these different underground networks of oligarchs and operators. And yeah, I think about the great man stuff, I think Plekhanov has that great essay on the role of the individual in history. And, he's kind of like responding to the great man theory people and saying, well, like, there is no doubt that, like, throughout history, there have been individuals who were able to make decisive decisions that impacted the trajectory of historical events. But they were able to do that because of objective economic and political factors that gave them the level of power in order to do that.
Yeah, but
Like
the other thing is that it's like important to be clear the extent of that causal influence, because I'm sorry, there is no one great personality that ever had a determinative effect in, for instance, the rise of capitalism. Capitalism would have emerged whatever personalities had been around. That is just the case for me. I mean, we're talking over hundreds of years here, but the causal influences we're kind of talking about are over decades, basically.
Right.
Or maybe a century. I mean, Alexander the Great or something like that. It is a personality who had effects in establishing dynasties that lasted hundreds of years, for instance, right? But did it fundamentally change the mode of production? Did it fundamentally change how the societies were reproduced? That I seriously doubt. That being said, yeah, I mean, obviously, someone like Epstein exerted causal influence in the extent of decades, right? I mean, he's clearly been very influential. What else can one say?
Yeah. But I feel like the step in understanding this in a kind of macro historical economic determinist way would be to look at this lumpen bourgeoisie, and its parastate and the role that it plays within capitalism as a whole, I think is where we would want to start systematizing this stuff.
And it's a similar, like, as I said, like, it's a similar, like, it's similar to like the mafia.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. It's mafiosa shit.
Yeah.
It's mafiosi.
It's the lumpen. He's a lumpen bourgeois, basically. Right.
And it's like, and Trump is surrounded with these people, and I think that's why Trump works a lot with the Kabod guys, because they're connected to these mafiosi networks, and they can just get stuff done.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to go through the procedural rules and regulations. You just say, hey, my guy needs something. Take care of it.
And at the same time, like a kind of the dictatorship of the bourgeoisie very much relies as a legitimating factor on the rule of law. So this kind of circumvention around the rule of law has to be secret.
Exactly.
Right. It very much has to be kept out of the eyes of the public.
It seems to me that they have to rule through circumventing the rule of law. That's precisely the function of someone like Epstein. So it's an actual thing to consider in an analysis. Like,
oh yeah,
in every historical age, there's probably people like Epstein.
Yeah, I mean, there's someone who can. There's ruling class adjacent elements that can circumvent law or convention to effectively exercise power, right? In the short or medium term, they end up becoming themselves causal forces. They end up becoming themselves elements of the ruling class.
Right.
Yeah.
So it sort of reminds me of like these secret societies, like the ones that people make like videos about, like Skull and Bones or whatever. Like there's a fantastical or occultist aspect to it, but then there's an aspect of it that simply describes the organization of the ruling class or the organization of class.
Oh shit, we lost him.
He was saying some good shit too.
Yeah, I know, but that is the truth, is that these secret societies, like, yeah, there's like the weird occult stuff that's associated with them that gets all the press and all the attention, but in the end, that's just like rituals that they do to bond with each other and to make their little like club seem like more important than it really is.
Yeah, but Skull and Bones is actually pretty important.
It is important in that sense, but I feel like the ritual aspect to it kind of adds a mystique that doesn't actually cover the real reason why these things are important.
Yeah, I mean, it tries to kind of provide a religious or kind of, I don't know, sort of.
No, these people need an ideology too, you know.
Yeah.
And I will answer this question. I think it was Les Wexner is who got Epstein to basically become rich, who was like the Victoria's Secrets guy, which raises some very disturbing questions about that franchise. But I think basically Les Wexner hooked him up and had him like manage money for him, and that's how Epstein got rich.
Yeah, but why on earth did he entrust Epstein with,
I don't know,
hundreds of millions of dollars, even though the guy had no experience up to that point and no credentials? Like, he was a high school graduate.
Yeah.
Who was a high school math teacher. So, I mean, I'm not.
Yeah, it doesn't answer the question really, but it does, you know, it is kind of that is the answer.
It's
that
very
people have
weird.
given.
Yeah. Why would he? I don't know. I mean, some people speculate that he basically honeypotted Wexner himself, right?
Yeah.
That he had something on Wexner himself and forced him to give him the account. What happened to our man? Damn.
Anyway, the close, we can take a look at this Hillary Clinton article and have a laugh at that.
Yeah, I think it's more than just pompous theater kid shit, though. I think it's trying to express something secret and hollowed, and those rituals kind of affirm that.
Yeah.
He rejoined. Can you let him in? Okay.
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, God damn.
I don't know what happened. Sorry about that.
Okay, so we're going to read Hillary Clinton's magazine.
MAGA's war on empathy.
Renowned for her empathy.
Notice how, this is someone who had so much empathy for Gaddafi in Libya when they destroyed that country.
Completely.
The crisis in Minneapolis reveals a deep moral rot at the heart of Trump's movement. It's like, well, this kind of reveals a deep moral rot at the heart of American society itself, really. Like, Trump's movement didn't come out of nowhere.
Insane.
And I first saw the video of the killing of Alex Preddy, an ICU nurse at the Minneapolis VA hospital, I merely thought that the parable of the Good Samaritan. Yeah, you're so religious, Hillary. You're such a religious and, biblical person here. Federal agents shot Preddy after he tried to help a woman they had thrown to the ground and pepper sprayed. Jesus tells us to love our neighbors as ourselves and help those in need. Do this and you will live, he says, not in Donald Trump's America.
Who the hell? This is the shittiest writing.
I know, it is terrible writing. And then she says, Americans have seen with their own eyes the cost of President Trump's abuse of power and disregard for the Constitution. Yeah, and we also saw with our own eyes, what happened in Gaza and how you defended that the entire time.
Yeah. It's actually worse. A lot worse.
Yeah. It's just you have no moral credibility to talk about this, Hillary.
Yeah. Oh, you had so much empathy for the 200 or however many hundred thousands of dead Palestinian children there are.
And, this is a deep moral rot at the heart of Trump's MAGA movement. Oh, yeah, obviously the MAGA movement is this morally depraved and despicable thing. You're not going to get like a disagreement.
Wait, are you reading? I read slow as hell, man. Whatever you think about immigration, how can it justify the lack of compassion and empathy for the victims in Minnesota and for the families torn apart hiding in fear? But you literally were the head of the Department of State.
Yeah, I know.
Are you talking about?
Well, I think it's annoying how Democrats are able to posture as like the empathetic on immigration crowd. They support a lot of the same policies. They're just not as
Bro,
right.
We've talked about it like on here before. This machinery was patiently built by both parties, and it only required a lunatic to get into the chair and flip all the levers that had been put there. You know, the machinery was put there before.
Right.
It's really annoying. Like, you can't do these bullshit moral gestures and then patiently build up all of the tools for Trump to be able to use.
Donald is highlighting the they're there, basically.
Yeah, right. Other recent presidents, including Joe Biden, Barack Obama, George W. Bush, and Bill Clinton, managed to deport millions of undocumented immigrants without turning American cities into battlegrounds.
Oh, so it's just good that like people were silently deported in the millions and no one gave a shit about it. Like,
right, like she's literally just saying, like, yeah, we deported tons of people, and
you think that
people weren't like this, so there's no problem with that.
There were kids being deported under these fucking people. What are they talking about?
I mean, deportation is immense state violence. That's what it entails. Really, what she's arguing is that the real problem is that it turns into a domestic crisis, not so much that the deportations are happening.
Exactly.
That's
like,
a
if
real
ICE
issue.
was able to do all of this without blowing into like a domestic crisis, like she wouldn't be giving a shit.
She's such a ghoul. She's so unlikable. I can't believe she thought she was going to win the presidency. She's so detestable.
Yeah.
I can't believe she thought this makes her look good.
The cruelty is the point.
She's a fucking ghoul.
As the Atlantic's Adam Swooler memorably put it during Trump's first time, the savagery is a feature, not a bug. By contrast, as Surwer noted recently in these pages, the people of Minnesota have responded with an approach called neighborism, a commitment to protecting the people around you, no matter who they are, where they came from.
Libs love to just like come up with all kinds of new.
I know.
They love that shit.
Like,
they love doing
they're
that.
They're going to give us this like sappy, like pseudo-Christian.
This is the invention of a new
your
thing
neighbor
called neighborism. It's like, that's not a thing.
Buy my book about neighborism
in America. That's all it is. You know, we just love our neighbors, and we're just good neighborly American citizens who are mad that are. It's just like, no, shut the fuck up.
You know, liberals like to invent neologisms because it helps them sell books.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, like,
so expect a book about neighborism.
Like inventing ism, like some new ism. Like, I like to call this Thomas Friedmanism. Where you
like, okay, so
you praise McDonald's and
so I guess, you know, caring about the people killed in Gaza doesn't, you know, that's not neighborism though. You're not their neighbor.
Yeah, her empathy does not extend to Gazans.
So it's not even like she's arguing for genuine empathy and like universalism and justice. It's like, oh, we just need to like care about our neighbors.
Yeah.
It's very stupid term. Like everything else she says.
So dumb.
The glorification of cruelty and rejection of compassion don't just shape the Trump administration's policies. Those values are also at the core of Trump's own character and worldview. They have become a rallying cry for a cadre of hard-right Christian influences who are waging a war on empathy. Okay, that's not untrue, but it's also very shallow.
Wait, let me see. Those values are also... Her prose is so just like annoying that I just tune out. For a cadre of hard-right. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, she says, you know, all of this threatens to pave the way for this extreme vision of Christian nationalism, which... I don't know if I really buy that Christian nationalism is like the framework we should be using to understand this.
Yeah, I don't really think that MAGA's a bit more. It's not secular, but it's not Christian. It's not like profoundly Christian.
Yes.
It's not, you know. Mercy and compassion start.
There's definitely like a big Christian component to it. That's not all there is to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the vast majority of people who support it are Christians, but it's not coded that way.
Yeah, I don't think it's the animating. Like,
no, it's a secular nationalism. Christian nationalism is too. There's too much of us.
I mean, in essence, like the Christianity in the movement functions as an ideology of power. It functions as a way of mobilizing people, but it's not actually like what they're trying to do.
No, it's not Christian coded. You don't fucking hear Trump going off about Christ and whatever.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the MAGA influencers do, but like I said, MAGA is like this multi-level marketing
Yeah, but
movement
not
where
even,
you have.
we've talked about Fuentes' like incredibly superficial Christianity.
Yes,
Because
exactly.
he can't even admit the universal aspect.
Yeah, and whenever like
the universalism works too much against the nationalism.
Yeah, and whenever there's a contradiction, he always sides with the nationalism.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like somebody pointed out, like Sneeko, I think pointed out that his like position on Venezuela was like anti-Christian and goes against like Catholic doctrine on war. And he was like, "Well, on this issue, I just don't agree with the Catholic Church."
We should just wantonly kidnap and murder whoever we want, because Christ would love that.
So anyway, after that, she goes on to basically say that actually I am really Christian. I actually am really like religious almost. Like as an adult, I occasionally taught at our church in Little Rock, Arkansas. Some people, such as
after the mass executions in jail,
such as Republican
go back to my mansion, and there would be black slaves there, and I was really nice to them. Gosh,
I was so nice to my slaves on my mansion.
So fucked up. I hate this woman so much.
I've never been one to wear my faith on my sleeve, but that doesn't mean it's
you're
not
writing a goddamn article about your faith.
Yeah, like come on, you're doing it right now. Quite the opposite. My faith has sustained me, informed me, saved me, chided me, and challenged me. I don't know who I would be or where I would have ended up without it. So
no one buys it. Absolutely no one buys it. Also, I love how she's trying to do this fucking Dem thing where she's like, well, MAGA is very Christian, so let me show them how Christian I am. Maybe I can out-Christian the right-wing Christians, and then all the right-wing Christians will really want to be on my side. It's not how it works. It's like the same shit with xenophobia and anti-immigration. You're not going to beat them.
That's their approach to everything the right does. It ends up leading us even further down in the abyss.
Yeah, they're dipshits. They're like, oh, well, you know, we can do anti-immigration too, but humanely. And it's like they don't care. The people who are into that don't give a shit. They want the real article, not your fucking half-assed bullshit.
Oh, this is great. She seems to praise Erica Kirk over here.
What, for grifting?
What? The contrast between traditional Christian morality and Trumpian amorality was particularly stark at the memorial service for the slain MAGA activist Charlie Kirk in September. Kirk's widow, Erica, publicly forgave her husband's killer. I forgave him because it was what Christ did, she said.
I don't think she just forgave him. I think she's ecstatic.
Yeah, I know.
She's living it up.
No, she loves that guy. She's like, thank you so much, you crazy Mormons. She's so happy.
Now I'm in control.
She's so happy.
Yeah, the whole Erica Kirk thing is really sus. Like, at first, I kind of dismissed, like, conspiracy theories.
Dude, she's
about
weird.
Kirk.
She's weird.
But it's just so much. Not that I have any idea what really happened or that I have like any theory myself. It's just the whole thing is weird. I'm just gonna say that.
She's a weirdo. She's also just clearly running laps on her. It's great.
Yeah,
it's hilarious. No one gave a shit about that guy. Like, no, they did.
Not even his own wife.
They went up in a furor about like absolutely nothing. Like they were like, oh my god, Charlie Kirk, and then everyone just grifting off his death. The only person who cares is Candace Owens.
And yeah,
and she's calling him an X-Men and shit.
And Trump is just like, I hate my opponent and I don't want the best for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, true. I don't want the best for my opponents either.
Yep.
So
I mean that's honest.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I can agree with you on that, Donald Trump. I don't want the best for you. You don't want the best for me. Let's keep it honest and not
let's be honest.
Do any of this Christian bullshit that's just about hiding the real stakes. Which that's what this is all about, really. Is just a bunch of namby-pamby feel-good bullshit to hide like the actual stakes.
The incredible violence of the deportation regime, once again, that was built up by these same people that now are horrified, makes no sense. You people have no moral standing. Amnesty now.
And it's like, okay, she says, MAGA sees a world of vengeance, scorn, and humiliation and cannot imagine generosity or solidarity. It's like, okay, that's technically true. Just like when you call them all deplorables. Like, yeah, you weren't wrong.
You actually were right about like.
Yeah, she was totally spitting there. Like, don't get me wrong.
That was straight fire. That's the only
Hillary spitting.
Yeah. Like she was totally right that they're all a bunch of deplorables.
Like 30% of the country you just can't do anything about. You just can't. You really can't.
Yeah, they just have to be pacified.
Yeah, they're cooked. They're just done. I mean, that still leaves a lot of people who are, you know, who can become, who can be on the right side of history. But yeah, 30% is just fucking just cooked. Wait, what else?
So
it's so
you know,
boring.
she goes on to talk about Christian nationalism and how this is like the big enemy movement, but
blah 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 blah. I really don't buy it. I'm sorry. I don't.
Yeah, it's nationalism. I agree with that, but it's.
I think it's a profoundly unhelpful characterization.
Yeah.
Of MAGA nationalism.
But don't love thy neighbor Christians have powerful allies in the war on empathy. Silicon Valley techno-authoritarians and social Darwinists argue that empathy is weakness and suicidal for civilization because it gets in the way of ruthless ambition and efficiency. You know, when I think of ruthless ambition and efficiency, maybe not efficiency, I do think of you, Hillary Clinton. I do think of ruthless.
Yeah, I really don't think of an empathetic person at all.
I also
she's
don't
right that
see
these people are terrible, but she has no room to speak.
But I also don't see her or the Democrats taking any effective stand against those people.
Yeah, exactly.
So, not really sure.
And then, you know, we may be convinced that we're the smartest guys in the room. They may be convinced that they're the smartest guys in the room, but they're dead wrong about this. Empathy won't destroy civilization. Indeed, it might just save it. We can debate policies, we can debate theology, but if we give up on empathy, we give up on any real chance of coming together to solve our problems. This is just such bullshit. Like, it's just, yeah, man. If we all just like took acid or took ecstasy and got together and just talked about our problems,
well, this is like
fix itself.
This is like if Saint-Simon became like 1,000 times dumber, and you know what I'm saying? Like, it's this conception that in truth speaking and in having a certain spirit that humanity can be reconciled or united. But the truth is that there isn't a lack of unity because of bad feelings or bad ideas, but because of very material reasons, that there are conflicting interests between classes, between groups, etc., etc.
Yeah.
You can't neutralize those real antagonisms with a bunch of feel-good bullshit.
It's like when people say, "Oh, the American people are just so united." Like, if only just had like a party that could like unite the American people. And
yeah, good luck with that. Good luck reconciling irreconcilable interests.
It's just such a misunderstanding of politics. Like, politics exist because the people are already divided. If the people weren't already divided, there wouldn't be a need for politics.
And of course, no one ever asks why are they divided. Someone like Hillary just thinks it's like, oh, they're divided because one side's stupid and the other's smart.
They just don't have empathy. They just forgot how to have empathy, and we're going to teach them how to have empathy.
We're going to teach them to have empathy.
So yeah, she goes on about the social media and how social media is evil and driving everyone insane.
God, she's so
and how we're becoming post-literate, which is obviously a very big problem.
This is actually, yeah, that
is what, you know.
Yeah, but for her, she's like, we're becoming post-literate, so everyone hates Israel now because if they read history, they love it.
Yes, exactly.
No,
there actually is a
how it works.
Saying that. Where it's like the reason why everyone's turning on Israel is because they're not literate and they're too plugged into social media and they don't know the history.
It's the TikToks and the Instagrams.
If they only knew the history like you do, Hillary, and weren't watching TikToks, they would be so pro-Israel.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
What are you talking about?
The vast majority of scholars all agree that a genocide is going on right now.
And it's also like people turned on Israel because they started looking into the history.
Right. That's precisely the issue.
People like you.
Yeah, for like
start reading history.
For 20 years, people like us were telling everyone else, like, yeah, y'all should look into this shit. It's fucking horrible. And then finally people had a reason to, and they're like, oh yeah, you guys are right, actually. You were in the moral wilderness for 20 fucking years. But we're catching up now. Don't listen to these.
Yeah. So anyway, what does Hillary argue that we should do? We need to listen to courageous faith leaders who are standing up to the Trump administration abuses. So, yeah, apparently the priests and everyone are going to save us. Whoops.
Wait, go back. But David Brooks, America needs a mass movement. You're going to lead it, David Brooks?
Yeah, David Brooks is going to lead the populist mass movement to stop MAGA fascism and fix economic. You know, just what the fuck?
The Atlantic is truly one of the most cursed publications.
So, her solution so far is, Catholic bishops are going to save us. Grassroots faith leaders are going to show the Christians, all these Christian MAGA guys, that really they're not following Jesus the right way. They need to follow Jesus like Hillary Clinton does. That's the right way to follow Jesus.
Okay, I don't want to seem fucked up, but ya Allah, I'm sorry, it's all make-believe. We're not gonna fucking save humanity by just believing some make-believe. Okay?
Listen, I am a proud atheist. I know not everyone who watches this probably is, but
it's not gonna save us alluding to a bunch of texts.
Yeah, exactly. It's not what's going on. The problem isn't that they're not reading Jesus the right way. It's that they're turning to this stuff to justify the base impulses they already have. So,
and for every quote you can find that it preaches compassion in the New Testament, you find 10 in the Old Testament that are slaughter everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of genocide in the Old Testament.
It's horrible stuff. So, we need a big tent that welcomes people of faith into our coalition. So we need to stop caring about abortion. That's probably what she's getting at there.
Exactly.
Hidden subtext. So in the end, it's just her solution just seems to be Christianity. That we just
this is dog shit.
This is such a dog shit article. It's unbelievable.
It's very facile politically.
If she talks about the deplorables thing here, it's especially challenging to feel empathetic for people with whom we disagree passionately. I certainly struggle with this. You may remember that I once described half of Trump supporters as the basket of deplorables.
See, the one time you were right.
I was talking about people drawn to racism, sexism, homophobia, xenophobia, Islamophobia.
You fucking blew up the Middle East. Shut the fuck up.
You killed Gaddafi. You.
There were slave markets in Libya. You fucking God.
Some of those people, they are irredeemable, I said.
You're
irredeemable. I still believe intolerance and hatred are deplorable. Slandering a peaceful protester and cheering his murder is deplorable. Terrorizing children because their parents are undocumented is deplorable. But as a Christian, I also aspire to see the goodness in everyone, and I believe that everyone has a chance at redemption, no matter how remote.
You're not Christian. No one's buying it. No one.
Yeah, this is what the liberals have to offer right now. They're not
fucked.
We're not solving anything. Liberals are just completely useless. All they can do is say, well, we just need to have compassion and empathy for these MAGA guys. And
they're literally going to be saying that shit as they're taken to the camps. It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Shut up.
I'm calling it here that we're not having midterm elections.
Yeah, we're not.
We're cooked. We're fucking cooked.
This is funny. When I see brutality like we've witnessed in Minnesota, I can ask myself, can I really find empathy for people who insist on dehumanizing others? I'm not sure, to be honest. Yeah, well, maybe if you can't even find the empathy yourself and you admit to it, maybe this empathy isn't the solution. Yeah. I'm not even against the idea that we do need more empathy and we do need compassion and we do need to be able to see people as humans and embrace each other on a human level, but that's not serious politics for dealing with the crisis we're in.
Yeah, but it's also it's also a question of empathy. Empathy for whom, right?
Yeah.
Do I have empathy for Adolf Hitler? No, I don't. Okay.
Hitler was a person. Hitler was a person.
No amount of universalism can overcome that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. No amount of Christian empathy is going to make me respect Jeffrey Epstein or Netanyahu and not see them as.
I'm sorry. Some people just have to be liquidated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some people need to be put in a jail cell, know, and just be punished for their crimes.
Does that mean that in the abstract, I don't believe in the value of human life? I don't believe in the equality of humanity. Of course, I affirm these as abstract principles. But then it's also how do we realize a kingdom of those values? Along the way, it's going to require reality. It's going to require force. It's going to require us to not be.
When 35% of the population won't step aside.
Yeah, what am I supposed to do?
You're going to have to do something.
What Adam Tooze, what he said, I thought was funny because he's all these Democrats talk about Trump as fascism and MAGA as fascism. Well, if you're going to drop that term, you better start talking about like what actually defeated fascism, which
Right.
was Joseph Stalin's tanks.
Hell yeah, bro.
Like that is, you know, like
The
it's not going to be
T-35.
Christian empathy that's going to defeat these people. It's going to be
Yeah.
something like that. I hate to say it, but it is going to be blood and iron, not Christian empathy. And then
Yeah.
once we've defeated these people, then we can have empathy and compassion and rehabilitate people. But in the end, they need to be defeated. They don't see their enemies as human. They're all on Twitter right now celebrating these shootings by ICE and these murders by ICE. They want more. They're mad that Trump isn't doing more of this. They want blood, flood the street, the blood of leftists and immigrants and everyone they hate. They have no compassion for us. And appealing to them in terms of compassion is not going to do jack shit.
It's stupid. Like, save your empathy for the people who deserve it. Like the millions of undocumented people under assault right now. They don't deserve it.
Exactly.
Does that mean that like we want them to be wantonly butchered and tortured? No, that's not what we're saying, obviously.
Yeah, we're not embracing the kind of anti-human cruelty of MAGA, but against the other side.
But are we stupid?
But we're not stupid. Yeah, we're realistic about what it actually takes to defeat something like this, you know?
Yeah, the T-35. That's what it takes. Baby.
T-35, exactly.
T-35, baby.
And arming lots of partisans.
Yep. Okay.
Anyway, I think that's a good place to wrap up.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, everyone, thanks for tuning in. This was a, disturbing episode, but I think
we ended it on a funny note, reading Hillary Clinton's dog shit.
Yeah, we try to,
that was
end on a funny note and make fun of Hillary Clinton. You can always make fun of Hillary Clinton and get a laugh out of that.
Hell yeah. I mean, the other thing is like, did she have compassion towards all the people that?
Did she have compassion for the Libyans?
No, but also for like all the women's lives that Bill destroyed. About that. They talk about compassion.
Yeah, like this is these liberals, they're useless. They're not going to do anything to stop this, and anything that has anything to do with Hillary Clinton needs to be completely excised from any kind of resistance to Trump. Like these people need to be buried. We need to start completely fresh and build a new movement, a new party movement that isn't soiled by these degenerate bourgeois scum, who in the end are also in Epstein's book.
Yep. Okay, guys. Thanks for joining. Tune in next week, same time.
And like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe to YouTube. Share with your family. Check out Cosmonaut Magazine. And if you would or could support us on Patreon, give us some money. We need money.
Get some merch.
Yeah, get some merch on the site. And thank you.